Hello everyone. So today we will be discussing about the first chapter of class 9, matter in our surroundings. The chapter basically depicts the matter and types of it and certain properties related to that. So the first thing, what is matter? Matter is anything that occupies a certain volume and has some sort of mass. Now, like this board itself, it has some volume, it has some space and has some mass. So we can simply touch and feel that. So this is a matter. Like this marker, this is also a matter. So what are the things that are not matter? Like our thoughts, the sensation of heat and cold, these are non-matter. So now let us take this marker for instance. We can break into many smaller and smaller pieces. So we can say that this is not a single body, rather it comprises of very small particles, very minute particles. Based on those particles, their physical and chemical properties, they shape up, they give characteristic to different types of matter. Now what are those properties? Let us first see. These are the four basic properties. The first one is the particles are very small. These particles are so small that we cannot see them through our naked eyes. Secondly, the particles have space in between them. One sort of matter has particles that have space where the other one can fit. Just as the example of dissolving salt in water. If we dissolve salt in water, the salt disappears because suppose these are two particles of water, then a salt particle, which is obviously smaller in size than that of water, fits into the space between the consecutive particles of water. Third, the particles are always in motion. Though we cannot see the particles, but there are certain characteristics that justify that the particles are moving. Like if we are cooking something, then we can get the smell of that food not even from the kitchen but also from any other place nearby, because the particles, they are spreading out everywhere, so they are in motion. And the last one, these particles are bonded with certain attractive forces. Just like to build up a wall, we need bricks but also a mixture of concrete to hold the pieces of bricks together. If we consider the tiny particles to be bricks, then that concrete is the thing that binds the bricks. Similarly, there are certain forces of attraction that binds these particles together. The force may be weak in one case and may be very strong in the other case. So from these particles, we can come up with certain new concepts. Like this gives to a new concept, intermolecular space. The space between the particles of matter is called intermolecular phase. Here it's giving rise to a new term called diffusion. Diffusion is the process where one type of substance mixes up with the other. We have all learned in our previous classes that fishes, they breathe oxygen that is mixed into water. Water contains oxygen which is diffused in water. And the new concept that we have here, it's called intermolecular force of attraction. Intermolecular force of attraction. Based on these four properties, we can divide matter into the three categories that exist: solids, liquids, and gases. Solids are those that have less intermolecular space, that means they have higher density, that have very low rate of diffusion, that means they do not try to mix up very easily, and that has very high intermolecular force of attraction, that means they are very strong. Liquids, on the other hand, have comparatively more intermolecular space, comparatively more rate of diffusion, but comparatively lesser intermolecular force of attraction. This is the fact which gives liquid the property that they can take the shape of any vessel that they are placed on, while solids cannot. And in case of gases, the intermolecular space is so high that even we are fitting into that. Like one particle may be here, the other may be here, and I am fitting inside that gap. The rate of diffusion is very high, actually the highest in gases. Like if I today take one room spray and spray it one corner of a room, the smell of the perfume, it just goes on through the entire room. And the intermolecular force of attraction is the least in gases. Basically, these are the three things that define or they differentiate between the three states of matter: solid, liquids and gases.